Ciao, I'm Francesca Lamanna, and in today's video I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to retouch skin and remove skin spots. So the first thing you want to do is to open your photo in Camera Raw and activate the two little arrows that I'm showing you here. These two arrows will show you if you're losing information in any dark or bright area of your photo. I noticed that the hot spot on the forehead is a little bit too annoying for me, so I'm going to lower a little bit the highlights. Now I'm ready to open the image in Photoshop. The first thing I'm going to do is to create a new layer, and I'm going to use the healing brush to remove some of the acne on her forehead and to correct some little defects on her skin. You want to make sure that this layer is set to current and below, so whatever you do here is going to be applied also to the layers underneath. The healing brush is very useful not only to remove acne from the skin, but also to remove skin spots and to correct little defects on the nails, on the lips, and it's also extremely useful when it comes to hairs. If you want to know how I shot this photo, you can find a full behind the scene completely explained in one of my previous videos, so I'm going to leave the link in the description box. Now it's time to dodge and burn. In order to dodge and burn, I'm going to create two curves and I'm going to rename them so I won't get confused later. Of course, you need to invert the mask, and if you want to use a shortcut, just press Ctrl-I and the mask will automatically invert. I believe that dodge and burn is much easier if you have your photo in black and white, so I'm going to use a solid color and I'm going to set it to color so I have my picture in black and white. The next thing I'm going to do is to double the layer and to add a little bit of noise so that when I work with dodge and burn, I focus only on the important things. And by the way, I think I will not remove this layer later because I really like the effect of the noise on the picture. It feels like you have more texture there. So I use dodge and burn mostly to smoothen those transitions between the darkest and the brightest areas of the skin. It takes some time to learn exactly how to do it, but I'm sure with a little bit of practice, you're going to become a pro. So dodging and burning is also extremely useful when it comes to skin spots. For example, in this photo, as you can see, my model had some white spots on her arm, so I'm going to use the burn tool to remove some of the spots. So sometimes it's very easy to get lost in what you're doing, so I like to zoom in and out to actually realize if what I'm doing is correct or not. So once I finished with the dodge and burn, I realized that the lower part of her body was a little bit darker than the upper part, so I'm going to add another curved layer to brighten up this part and make the picture more even. As always, I'm going to invert the mask and I'm going to use a white brush to make the changes exactly where I want them, and in case I make any mistake, I can still use a black brush and recover what I did. When I shot this picture, I knew that it was going to be a black and white. I don't have one specific method to convert my images in black and white, but as you can see, if you simply lower all the saturation down, the final result is pretty flat. So what you can do is you can try to play a little bit with the levels, but still the final result doesn't convince me 100%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel the hue saturation level and I'm going to add a black and white level. Having the chance to work with those channels really makes the difference. So when I added the black and white layer, I realized that the darkest area were really too dark. So once again, I used the mask to recover some information that was there before. To make the photo look more interesting, I wanted to add some vignetting all around, so I added another curved layer. I inverted the mask and once again with a white brush with a low flow I painted the vignetting all around. I didn't want it to make it too obvious, that's why I used a low flow. And if you're still not sure about the result that you get, you can still lower the opacity of the level. Finally, I added another curved layer because the brightest parts of this image were too bright for my taste, so I used the layer to lower the brightness, if I can say so, and this is the final result. Looking at the picture from the distance, I realized that some spots were still visible, so I went back to the burn layer and worked a little bit more on those spots to make the skin of the arm more even. So before exporting the image, I'm going to merge all the layers and I'm going to sharpen the image a little bit. So this is the final result. If you want to know how I shot this photo, make sure you check my previous video. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumb up and you subscribe to my channel. So see you in the next video. Ciao!